Scraft Impulse, back with another. Wait, what? Hang on. Well, it's round. It's game. Wait. Start again. I'll edit this bit out. Right, Scrap fans, back with Game 2 in this round 1 matchup of Mdylfb, Mdylfb, Mdylfb. What is a weird name? Like what is that? Like, is it Elvish or something? Is it work maybe? Who knows? I don't really know. Anyway, it's a best of 3 and Coop is not 2-0 up. He's 1-0 up. If he was 2-0 up, he'd have won, wouldn't he? That's how that works. That's how best of 3s work, isn't it? Welcome to the math school. All right, so last game was actually, it's got to be said, one of the higher standards of games that I've seen. In all honesty, it was a reasonably high standard. Both players, made stuff. I mean, yeah, there were mistakes. Mdylfb didn't move out of the way of corrosive biles. KuperMeister did not expand nearly as quickly as he should have, but nonetheless, it was a reasonably encouraging game. So this Overlord needs to change direction, otherwise the Marine is going to kill him. He can move up onto here. If he just stops there, the Marines can't see him. That is high ground, and the Marines wouldn't be able to see you. So looks like I need to come up with a way of saying it that isn't a pain in the arse. I'm just going to call him Dilf. Maybe not. Maybe I'll call him something different. I'm gonna call him Mib. Right, Mib is building a full wall off across the natural, and I like that. It's a good thing. That'll keep those pesky lings out. This is something we have seen very, very little of right here in the StarCraft in the EMS tournament. A queen dropping a creep tumor and spreading creep. Can't recommend that enough. It is such a useful thing. By default, my first 2 queens out, the first thing I do is drop 2 creep tuners rather than injects. You don't normally need those injects, the first queen that's built, because you don't have the money to actually spend on the larva that would come out. So what I tend to do is the first 2 queens, you drop a tumor here, a tumor here, you send this queen down to join the other one, you start 2 more queens. The next 2 that come out I would keep next to the hatcheries for doing injects, but I'd also build 2 more after that, and have 4 queens probably on the map dropping creep tumors at any given time, and 1 queen per hatchery. If I think I'm going to be up against air from a Protoss, for example, or I think there's a strong chance of Liberator, Harass, or whatever, I might leave a couple of queens in the main base and a couple in the natural. Because they're quite good defensively as well. But in general, don't be shy about building queens. One of the great things about queens is they don't use larvae. You can build queens larva free. And as a Zerg player, once you get used to it, what you'll realize is that unlike the other races, it's not about being mineral blocked or gas blocked. It's about being larva blocked, certainly in the early parts of the game when you've only got 2 hatcheries to work with. That's why it's so important to expand quickly as Zerg, so that you're not throttled, so that you're not limited by the number of larvae that you can produce. So anyway, queens don't use larvae. They do use 2 supply. They're 150 each, so they're not cheap, but nonetheless they are good units to have. If you watch any pro StarCraft, like players like Cyril Rayner will go up to sort of 10, 11 queens, especially against well, actually, to be fair, probably less likely to against another Zerg, but against a Terran or a Toss, definitely. Are these tanks kind of just... Well, I'm not sure what that is. There's a Ghost. I would freaking love to see it in Nuke. I would love that so much. You need a Ghost Academy here to build Ghosts. And at the Ghost Academy, you can research cloaking for the Ghost so that he can cloak. And you can also build a nuclear missile. You can only build them one at a time. So if you're going to go nuke heavy, you need several Ghost Academies, and obviously several ghosts. Once you've got that nuke ready to deploy, Ghosty can just run to a point and he pins the target and the nuke drops. And I have a feeling that's what we're going to see. There's the cloak. Oh, Mib. So that's what the nuke looks like. I don't know if KuperMeister was wise to it or just fluked the withdrawal at that moment. Those corrosive biles on the Marines, absolutely savage. These ghosts that are cloaked here, I didn't hear any snipes go off. So 2 top tips for Terran player when you're playing against things like Ravagers. 1, don't put your tanks in a position like this. 1 corrosive bile in the center of those hits all 3 of them, and corrosive biles do splash. So have gaps between the tanks. And in general as well, against Zerg, you never want your tanks that close, because Ling surrounds can surround all of them, and tanks in siege mode cannot shoot stuff that they're too close to. The other top tip is one of the Ghost's abilities is Snipe. So it has a very long range, and it does a single sort of shot of damage of, I think, about 150. So having your Ghosts on a hotkey so that you can just hold down R and go doop, doop, doop. You could snipe these corruptors out of the sky. I wouldn't bother with the roaches, it's going to take too long to kill them. And additionally, roaches are cheap, whereas corruptors are expensive, and similarly Ravagers, much more expensive. This Ghost is going to run out of energy. Being cloaked does cost energy, so he is going to have to do one. We saw that the other one did run out of energy and died. Ghosts, by the way, also have the most grisly sort of death animation in the whole of StarCraft. When they die, they're all like, as if they're like being dragged through a combine harvester or something. This is looking like a better game in a lot of regards for our Zerg player. I like the creep spread. We're up on 3 bases, but there needs to be a 4th. You know, here we are at 11 minutes. Ideally, there should be a 4th and 5th now, but you know, this is round 1, so I'll settle for there's 3 bases reasonably saturated. Needs to do a little bit of housekeeping with these workers and get some more gas on the go, because there is a bit of an imbalance between the minerals and the gas, a common feature in fact in EMS games. People are sometimes really quick to take their first gas, and then after that they like don't bother anymore. It's a bit weird. Anyway, we're going to see a Banshee come across the map. I believe cloaking is done for the Banshee. So this Banshee can cloak up and come in and get some hurt on. There's no detection. Oh, I thought cloaking was done. Maybe it is. Maybe... oh yeah, there we go. So it is cloaked. Can't be seen. Now these units are like tracking it around. You can see, if I just click on Coop's vision, you see that little shimmer? That's what he gets to see. That little shimmer. So you can tell where it is. Other tricks are, if it's stationary, it's hard to spot. You can rotate the screen or zoom in and out using insert delete or page up and down. I think it is to zoom in and out. Maybe I didn't. Oh, whoa! There we go. It's home and delete. Home and end, sorry, to zoom in and out. But rotating using insert and delete as well. Just helps reveal those units. Something happened here when I wasn't looking. Let me just back it up and find out what. So some mutalisks on the map, and hopefully this time we're going to see them get used in a slightly superior way to we did last time. They're going to come in here. There's a single turret. They can focus that down, but you know, to be honest, ignore it. Just fly to where it isn't is the more sensible option. Gonna have to run chased out by these, but corruptors will just wreck those. Corruptors are really tough units. They're kind of like armored air units, if you like. So a lot of corrosive biles coming down here again. There is a nuke gonna land here, but I think all the Zerg stuff is gone by the time the nuke would have landed. And as it happens, the Ghost is dead. These Ultralisks are tough, but look how many siege tanks there are. What Cooper needs to do really is get an Overlord into, like this one, into position. If you turn these into Overseers, they've got greater vision range and move faster. into position so that you can see this, and you could come down on the low ground with a bunch of Ravagers and just corrosive bile all of this and then send the Ultras in through the front door, and you would be in good shape. There are 6 Mutalisks in production, and that will then be quite a few Mutas, but as is always the case, you know, Mutas aren't a great fighting unit, they're a great harassing unit. I'd like to see them in your opponent's base rather than with your army. They are, you know, they're all about the backstab, those Mutalisks. That's what they're about. Friday night tastes good. So here we go, and you can see that like a half-built CC doesn't have nearly enough health to tolerate the Mutafire. These Mutas, you know, as I said earlier, normally you wouldn't bother trying to kill buildings with them, and I stand by that, but these supply depots are pretty flimsy. Let me find a full health one, 365. With that many Mutas, and given that they're close together, you'd get the splash effect. With all the supply depots in the same place, you could actually come in and just completely supply block your opponent. Not that it would do you much good. Mib is actually parked on like 5 grand minerals. So, you know, he could easily just pull 10 workers and build 10 supply depots simultaneously and still have money left over. Why wouldn't you just go and kill these tanks? You can see them. Look, that's Cooper's vision. Sees them. Why wouldn't you just, like, it's weird. It's just a couple of tanks parked there. Bless them. Okay, Ultralisks are coming. Nom 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 nom. Ultralisks are awesome. I love an Ultra. They are a great late game unit from the Zerg. It's kind of, these Mutas have probably like outstayed their welcome. Are we finally going to see the end of this row of tanks? You know, because the Mutalisks will clean them up pretty handily, to be honest, given the tanks don't shoot up. Yeah, they finally do go down, and it is GG. So yeah, another pretty respectable game from both players, to be honest. Yeah, I'm encouraged by that. I thought they played quite well.